His mercy endures forever.
His mercy endures forever.
Praise the Lord God of Israel.
Praise the Lord, the God of Israel.
For he is good.
For he is good.
And his mercy endures forever.
And his mercy endures forever.
In Jesus' name we pray.
In Jesus' name we pray.
The Holy One of Israel.
The Holy One of Israel.
The Mighty One of Jacob.
The Mighty One of Jacob.
The King of Kings.
King of Kings.
And Lord of Lords.
And Lord of Lords.
Amen.
Amen. I don't know if we have any questions offhand, but didn't you have a question about Jerusalem at one point?
It got answered.
What was your question?
To Jerusalem. The Jerusalem of the Jebusites and the Jerusalem of the Amorites. Were they two separate places, one in the north, one in the south?
Oh, okay.
Nate answered it.
Okay. Yeah, well, I will say this. And let's turn to Joel, because some people like to say that the Jerusalem that's there now is not Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm. That kind of led to all of the...
Yeah, and really, they wouldn't be bucking like that over this land if it really wasn't Jerusalem.
Yeah.
We just gonna hit one scripture. I figured by now you got your question answered, because you ain't really say nothing else to me about it. But we're gonna go to Joel chapter 3. And I had the privilege at one point of going to the library, back when they used to let you get the CDs in the library. And a professor did a study on Jerusalem. And he covered it from David to present day. And it was long, like maybe 8 hours or so. But it was all on, it wasn't even a DVD, it was a CD of, I guess, his lectures in class. But it was excellent. Like, he covered every aspect of Israel or Jerusalem. Who owned it then, who owned it here, who did what, when, and where. So they were able to cover that pretty thorough. And what we learned about Jerusalem is it ain't been but one place for it. But let's look at this scripture here. Joel chapter 3 and started at verse 1. And when you get there, go ahead.
For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat.
So what the Bible does is it actually gives you cities that even exist today or that we're able to find today. Couple of things about the region of Jerusalem and that whole area. The lowest place of elevation on the planet is right there in that same region. It's the Salt Sea. And that's what it's called, the Salt Sea. Yeah, that's the lowest. You know what I mean? Like, these places are in the Bible, and we can go back and look at a map, today's map, and literally point at different locations. Even so much that when we get into Daniel chapter 11 and we start talking about where the Antichrist is going to reign, it creates a boundary of Northern Africa and in the Middle East. So he gets all the rest of the world, but it's scripturally, it's like written in there. So when you start talking about, what Jerusalem is here, how is it that everything else in the Bible we can pinpoint exactly where it is today even? But now all of a sudden Jerusalem ain't really where Jerusalem is. Where we, you know what I mean? Like you know, and that's not, like I said, your question probably wasn't as far-fetched as the statement that's made. Because quite often the statement is made, this ain't the real Jerusalem.
And I've heard that.
Right. Alright, but watch what he's gonna keep saying though. Keep reading. What verse are we at?
Middle of verse 2.
Okay, go ahead.
And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
See, notice what? When the Lord come back, it's about, the Bible says Jerusalem is the city of the great king. It's about his land and his people. So, what other land are we fighting for over here? You know what I'm saying? Like, there is, at this point right now, 2018, don't nobody want no more land. It ain't like America saying, give me Cuba now. Or give me Brazil or something, Argentina, or the South Pole, Antarctica. Nobody's fighting over a piece of land But all of a sudden, the Middle East, though, you know what I'm saying, they fight over this one little area of land. Okay, not even in Africa are they fighting for it. Go ahead, keep reading.
And they cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine.
Let's get down to verse 12.
Let the heathen be wakened, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. So
the valley of Jehoshaphat, that's where Megiddo, or this is also Armageddon. This is where the last battle gonna happen. But you can pinpoint this. This is the reason why we as a body of teachers tend to use books like the Atlas of the Bible, or couple of other books where it's pictorial, where you can see. You know what I'm saying? And we show you like this stuff is still here even to this day. Alright? But go ahead, keep reading.
For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision.
Right, notice what he's calling it. He's calling it the valley of decisions. Decisions about what? About who gonna rule the world. Like y'all been, but keep reading though.
For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. The Lord also shall roar out of Zion, and utter his voice.
So notice what it's saying. The Lord gonna rule out of Zion, utter his voice and from Jerusalem. Go ahead.
And the heavens and the earth shall shake, but the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel.
All right, let's go to one more place. Isaiah 34. And like I said, we could do this a lot, but I'm not going to. But watch what Isaiah 34 says. Isaiah chapter 34. And we're going to pick this up at verse... we'll start at verse 1. Isaiah 34. So we're speaking about, Israel or Jerusalem, which is a city. Okay? And in the New Testament, it's called the city of the great king. Okay? But we're trying to say, well, is Jerusalem today the same Jerusalem of ancient times? Now, this should give us a pretty clear answer. So we're going to pick it up in verse 1, Isaiah 34 and 1. When you get there, go ahead.
Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken. Ye people, let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it.
He's saying, I want this whole world to know about this. Go ahead.
For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations.
Yes, sir.
And his fury upon all their armies.
Uh-huh.
He hath utterly destroyed them.
Mm-hmm.
He hath delivered them to the slaughter.
Go ahead.
Their slain also shall be cast out.
Uh-huh.
And their stink shall come up out of their carcasses.
Go ahead.
And the mountains shall be melted with their blood.
Keep reading.
And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved.
This at the return of the Lord. All the hosts, this is when the heavens going to roll back like a scroll. When he said, all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved. Go ahead.
And the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll.
Uh-huh.
And all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth off from the vine. And as a falling fig from the fig tree.
Go ahead.
From my sword shall be bathed in heaven.
So he said, my sword going to be bathed in heaven. It's the Lord talking here. Keep going.
Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea.
Idumea is Edom. So when the Lord come back, one of the people he plan on dealing with is the so-called Jew. That's how we know that the so-called Jew is in the land. Because a lot of times people question that. Like, is that Edom over there? Or are they the Gentile, the Khazars, and the Ashkenaz, who? And look, when the Lord come back, he say he gonna deal with Edom, the so-called Jew. And when he come back, he say he gonna deal with them there. So then they must be there. Keep reading.
And upon the people of my curse to judgment.
Uh-huh.
The sword of the Lord is filled with blood.
Keep reading.
It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice and Bozrah.
Bozrah. Now that's Bozrah or Bozrah, however you want to say it. That's one of the mountains that's down there in Edom. Okay, like in Jerusalem or in Israel's land, we got a mountain like Mount Olivet. They got Mount Bozrah, and they name. Sometimes people are called. Sometimes some people are called by land in their land, or vice versa. That the land is called by the people who inhabit it. Okay, but go ahead, keep reading.
And the great slaughter in the land of Idumea. And the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls. And their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness.
All right, here go your scripture. Go ahead.
For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion.
So think about that statement. He's saying for the controversies of Zion. What other land has been more controversial than the Jerusalem that we see now?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it ain't like it's a controversy over Italy. Or what city we in now? It ain't no controversy over North Carolina. Right, it's only one piece of land, and that's Jerusalem.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? So then we have to trust that that's the same Jerusalem. You know what I mean? And I mean, come on, like they be walking down the street, blowing up, like, bro, something going on. If that ain't Jerusalem, there's something going on with that place. And Jerusalem quiet as a church mouse then, which is contrary to what the Bible is really saying. So yeah, so I know them people like some people. Man, let me tell you something, man. People gonna have something to say about every single thing you say or do when it comes to the Bible. They ain't gonna ever agree. It's gonna be somebody that's gonna always disagree with something that we be on. And when I say we, you, me, anybody, something that, you know what I mean? Like, you're never gonna get everybody to, if we sat down long enough, we gonna disagree about something. You know what I mean? And so you can't let the fact that somebody is disagreeing or it disagreeing with you, or that somebody presents something new. Don't be so easily persuaded. I'm not saying you were, or by asking that you were even tempted to be persuaded. But I am saying don't be so easily persuaded. There will be many things. Make people prove stuff to you when it's contrary to what your thought process is. Not contrary to what somebody in here done taught you. That make them prove to you when it's contrary to how your spirit, mind, whatever, if it sound, man, I need more. You're going to have to give me more. And then you ain't got to, like me, because I can be very persuasive. I can be. And matter of fact, to the point where I don't even like to speak a whole lot because I can be very persuasive. So, therefore, even with, where was I going with that? Oh, like, you got to, and I know people can be, especially ministers. So, you got to like line it and mark it up well with what is in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Because I can convince you something weird. I put it to you like this. We discussing about angels sleeping with men. And the answer is, or women, the answer is it didn't happen. But I can convince you that it did. You see what I'm saying? Now, I can break down to a science that it didn't. But I'm just saying, so you have to watch out for that. That people have that gift. So then you sitting there, you listening to them, and they sound so persuasive. And all of us got it. Like when I say all of us, like Brother Elijah got it, Bowie got it. Like when you hear brothers stand up here, and you shaking your head. So right, that is a gift from God that they can persuade people to think, and it can be used in a manipulative way. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, you as the hearer, you got to make sure, hey, I'm checking this. You see what I'm saying? And I'm saying this to us so that we all on that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know people who can come in here and take away what God done gave you. So we got any other questions or comments, even though that really wasn't the original question. That question came some weeks ago, huh? I know, right? We got any questions or comments? Nothing. So y'all just biblical scholars around here. Okay. But that's fair though. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
You wanna take a look at examples of what you just talked about, how people can come and try to take away from the flock.
Oh yeah, I can do that. Let's start at Romans 16 first. Let's start at Romans 16. And Paul, I guess he had to deal with it a lot, because he addresses it quite a bit. But God give us a way to comprehend what's in the Bible. And never be afraid to walk away from a situation and say, I'm not sure if I know what you really saying is true. Maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong, I don't know. But I'm going to go pray about it. And don't be afraid to pray. The problem that I found with brothers who have left the word for some higher calling of doctrine or understanding is that they never really got their understanding from God anyway. For example, when you go grab a Strong's Concordance and you tell me that giants mean Nephilims and the Nephilims are the fallen ones, you ain't getting that from God. You're getting that from Strong's now. You know what I'm saying? And you tell me that Elohim is a singular, plural, whatever for God, and you tell me that really it's not Jesus, it's Yahshua. When you doing all this and you going to grab this extra information to drive these points home to me, that when I first got in the book, all I had was this. You see what I'm saying? But now I need a whole another pile of books to comprehend. I need the book of Enoch, all that stuff. See right there, when you come at me like that, man, I'll keep it simple, y'all. Remember that. The only thing you might need, additional book, honestly, dictionary. And that's because these words are written in English and you'd be surprised what words you don't know. Like smart. Y'all know what smart means? What you say? Not dumb though. But it's definitely not smart as in intelligent when you read it in the Bible. Suffer. Yep, suffer. You're smart for it is what they say. I mean, you'll suffer for it. So I'm saying, and that's regular dictionary. So I'm saying a lot of times, the most you might need is a dictionary. But Romans 16, and let's pick it up in verse, start at 16. Romans 16 to 16, go ahead.
Salute one another with an holy kiss. The churches of Christ salute you. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. Right,
and this was a conversation that we was having last night, because my wife's brother is a pretty, I would say I don't know, big time. He's a false prophet. And so we talking, and there's another sister in the room, and you know, and my wife is talking about her brother. I'm like, nah, don't be showing her no pictures of this dude. She don't even need to see who he is. You mark those, and it's her brother, it's my wife's brother. And I'm like, and I feel bad, like, but you know, my wife has to understand this dude is a false prophet. Like, some kind of way he left the path. I'm sorry, I know he's your brother, I know you love him, but he's not a true prophet of God. And so, if you're saying that he is, then what are you saying about the organization from which you stand? Because we on two different grounds. So you got to make that. You got to make that stand. But notice what it's saying. And some people have a problem with you calling out false prophets. He said, mark those which cause offenses contrary to the doctrine. Where you at?
Verse.
Contrary to the doctrine, which ye have learned, and avoid them. That's like saying don't eat from that tree. But go ahead, next verse.
For they that are such serve not our Lord Jesus Christ, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches.
So notice what it says, by good words and fair speeches. See, that's the thing, like, man, these people, we people that stand in front of, I have a book in my house that teaches me how to be a good orator. I purchased it. Now, that don't make me a bad person. It wants me. Honestly, I want to perfect my craft. But what I'm trying to get you to understand is, when the Lord is telling people to be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove, from the audience perspective, you have to be careful to see how much of a serpent this person really being. You know what I'm saying? Like, is he really doing this the proper way? That's why I like to make sure that I put classes out there that teaches the people how to study the Bible. You see, as opposed to me telling you what everything is. Because now if I'm telling you what everything is, you don't have your own. What you really have is what I gave you. And there's an old pimp saying that old Malachi York used to say, I come to give you what you want so you can learn to have what I got to give. That's a line that he used to present to the people. You know, and they would eat it. You know, but really the reality is he just basically saying right now, I'm telling you what you want to hear so that when I'm ready to take your mind, it belongs to me. And you have to be careful because people really get caught into their pastor, not understanding this is a gift, but this is, brothers are skilled at this. Everybody can't stand up here and talk. All right? Let's go. Did you finish that?
No.
Go ahead.
And by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple.
See, I like how I said deceive the hearts of the simple because we don't have to be deceived. We don't have to be simple. All we got to do is stick to the plan, stick to the program, get in the book. You get in the book, you don't have to be deceived. Jesus said, don't let nobody deceive you. You don't have to, but I just want you to know that there are brothers who don't be knowing what they're talking about, even amongst Israel. Every Israel, I do that. I hear that more than, I don't even listen to the false prophets. I listen to Israel more now. You know, like, yeah, he's slipping with that. He's slipping with that. I don't necessarily put you out there, but I'll be paying that some attention because I get a lot of questions. Let's go over to Titus, though. The book of Titus. Titus, that's a book that you might not know exists. That's before you get the Hebrews. Titus. And we're going to start him off at chapter 1. We'll look at one more after this. But I mean, it's all in the Bible, but again, I just want us to understand that, you know, to talk is, like, I used to wonder, how do these false prophets have so many people in their church when they're lying? So don't think, oh, he must be telling the truth. Because like Bowie. Like Bowie, and Bowie my dude. Bowie's an old, wise man, wise old man. So I'm not hating on Bowie at all when I make the statement. But don't think Bowie is a prophet of God just because he just built a new church and got all these people there. You feel what I'm saying? Like, oh, it must be from God because he wanted to build it and he did it. Like, nah, that's not the reason why it must be from God. Because I saw before Eddie Long. I watched Eddie Long, and he's dead now. He died last year before that. But I watched him go from back in 1989, the first time I ever seen New Birth. I walk in there and it's a smaller church. Then I watched them in my senior year in high school, which was 93, get into the big church, a huge church. Then I watched them after I left and came back to Georgia. I watched them go from those two pieces of those two, regular size to where they own acres, and it's a New Birth. What you want to call it? What they call that place New Birth is? Kingdom or something. And they got basketball courts, buildings, football fields. Parking lot for days. It's huge now. They got like a little kingdom over there. But that don't make it from God though. But I seen this. I watched it. And I watched, them dealing in the community, all of that. They used to have a little, the men's thing on Friday night. We'd get up there and hoop. They sold it. And that's what I'm trying to show you or tell you is that these false prophets, it's a hustle. It's a game. And sometimes, here's the thing, they not necessarily, in some cases, especially some of these Sunday churches, they ain't necessarily trying to hurt you. Sometimes they're trying to give you what it is that you want. It's just what you want ain't the right thing. You know what I'm saying? And then when I say they're trying to give you what you want, they're trying to give you a community, a network, somewhere to deal with God. And all those things sound great, but that's not how you deal with God. And that's what they be on. So I don't even fault them. Like, I think it's a great idea that you used to have all the youth up here on Friday night hooping. Now, I didn't know it was the Sabbath then, but it was good because we wasn't in the streets, because that's where we would have been. You see, so I don't necessarily fault all your good efforts, but what I'm saying is that, man, what they say, the road to the lake of fire is paved with good intentions. Like, just because your intentions are good don't make it proper. Titus, chapter 1, verse 10. Go ahead.
For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision.
Especially Israel. Them of the circumcision. Go ahead.
Whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not, for filthy lucre's sake.
Yeah, these churches would, these ministers would flip the whole crib, have the husband and the wife going against each other. Make it so bad. I've known situations where the wife done left her husband and now she is with this whole organization and sleeping with the guy who was coming over there telling, trying to convince them both. I've seen those situations in Israel. Go ahead.
One of themselves, even a prophet of their own, said the Cretans are always liars, evil beasts, slow bellied.
So now what we seeing here is he calling out a group of people. Because people trying to act like you can't call nobody out. Go ahead.
This witness is true. Wherefore rebuke them sharply, that they may be sound in the faith, not giving heed to Jewish fables and commandments of men.
So that's the thing that's what we talked earlier about them angels sleeping with men. That's a Jewish fable. The book of Enoch is a Jewish fable. What you thought we didn't have them? The Greeks got them. You know what I'm saying? The Romans got them. How come the Israelites, where are our fables? Don't tell me it's Christmas, because they ain't got nothing to do with us. That started with the Norse gods, or, Mithra, or Semiramis, or whatever you want to say, but they ain't had nothing to do with Hebrew. Where are the Jewish fables? I'm telling you, those are the ones. The ones when they try to hand you these extra books and say, this, you need the book of Jubilee so you can understand this, or you need the book of Enoch so you can understand that. Go ahead.
That turn from the truth. Unto the pure all things are pure.
Go ahead.
But unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure.
Go ahead.
But even their mind and conscience is defiled.
Keep reading.
They profess that they know God.
And that's what happens. You're going to run across men that profess to know God. Go ahead.
But in works they deny him.
And see, a lot of times you don't even get to really see the works of men. Because you only see them, it's just like me. You only see me when I'm here. That's it. So, short of the fact that I'm presenting the word of God, so we can't argue with that. Everything else is by word alone, by recommendation of another alone. Honestly. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know people. So, you may get to meet them and get to know them, and that's cool. I just want you to understand. I just don't want us to become gullible. Fall for anything. You know what I mean? Let's go over here to Second Peter, and this will be the last one on this. See, because false prophets, really, what we're talking about, is really, I so dislike the way Israel touches it, to be honest. When I say Israel, I'm talking from Bowie on down. And the reason I dislike the way we touch it is because we always point that away. To the Sunday church, to the Muslim, and don't get me wrong, they're false prophets. But it's false prophets in Israel, though. You know what I mean? And that's the key that I want us to see. Don't let the Israelites trick you. Stick to, and they be subtle. You know what I'm saying? That brother have you thinking Melchizedek ain't Jesus now, but it don't really matter. You know what I'm saying? That be the thing. It ain't that detrimental. Next thing you know, brother done came to you with 8 new, not that detrimental things. After a while, that stuff becomes detrimental because you're believing something that's no longer true. So you have to be careful what tree you eating from. And if you can't go in there and prove it by the rules that you set for your understanding, see, everybody should have their own set of rules for their understanding. See, now mine is the Lord gonna have to show it to me. I'm gonna pray to him. But I know he is. It's been done year after year. But I'm going to go read what you got to say, but you ain't selling me this like that. I'm not buying it. I'm just, let the Lord show me if it's true. What did he say? Let God be true and every man a liar. Let's go to 2 Peter chapter 2. And we'll pick it up at verse 1. 2 Peter chapter 2. Yeah, it really irritates me that we act like Israelites. I'm talking about Israelites like I don't see brothers stand in congregations of Israel. And they've been lying from the roster. Sometimes it was they didn't mean to. They said a word might have slipped. I get that. That didn't happen. And then you said something, it just came out the wrong way. Or sometimes some of these brothers they understand to be a little messed up, and they don't know it, and then nobody catch it. And next thing you know, they out there. Just like I give you an example of one that when it says, and here's one that might bite. When it says we are not under the law, we're under grace. That's talking about the sacrificial law. No, it's not. it means that we're not under the penalties of the law. According to the law, when you sin, you were supposed to die. We're under grace. It's really just that simple. So I done heard brothers actually teach that falsely. Now, is that detrimental? I don't know, but I got the truth. You know what I mean? That's what I want out of it. Like, I mean, do I think these brothers are evil men? No, I don't. I really don't. I just think they're making a mistake. But I don't think my pastor growing up was an evil man. Dr. Thomas Evans, that was his name. You know what I mean? If it weren't for him, I wouldn't be in the Word. Figure that one out. So let's go to 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. When you get there, go ahead.
But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies.
Right, he said they privately going to bring in, you got to watch that. People going to be coming in with stuff, and it's contrary. And they're going to be sneaking it in on you. Go ahead.
Even denying the Lord that bought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of.
Go ahead.
And through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you.
Right. So through covetousness, it said they with feigned words, you know, like false words, go make merchandise of you. Go ahead.
Whose judgment now of long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not.
Right, they don't get what's coming to them. Let's skip down to verse 10.
But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness, and despise government, presumptuous are they.
All right, let's skip down. We're still talking about them, but let's skip down to verse 15. 14.
Having eyes full of adultery, and that cannot cease from sin, beguiling unstable souls.
Right, so this is what they do. They trick unstable souls. So me knowing this, and I want to do a good job. So my job is to help stabilize you. Like, that's what my job is. My job, like, is to get you as close to me as possible. And when I say that, because I can only give you of me, each individual. And I'm like, I know it's going to take a lot for you to trick me. So then, if it's going to take a lot for you to trick me, then whatever I got that's going to take a lot for you to do, then I got to get you as close to that as possible. So then, I'm trying to put you on the same wavelength. Like, look, if somebody don't come to you with the old and the new, don't buy it. If somebody coming trying to, they ain't bringing Jesus, don't buy it. You know what I'm saying? If they, like it's certain rules to it. If somebody ain't humble, they don't have that level of humility, and they trying to come with something that's contrary to everybody, don't take it from them. God resists the proud. You know what I'm saying? There's rules to it, the rules that I got, and that's all I do. I just share them. Like, man, this is how I be seeing it. And I heard some people sometimes like, when you said that, I'm like, yeah, you're right. I agree. So that's all I'm trying to do is just get you to as closer to my way of thinking about it, because at least I know if you can think it like that, then I know that it should take you more. It should take more to convince you otherwise. I hate people that's so easily persuaded. I don't mind when this brother don't agree with me and it take a minute for me to get it in there, because he should be what he got right now. He should be sure that it's the truth, and if he ain't sure that it's the truth, then it shouldn't be there. So therefore, if I'm coming with something that's contrary, it's contrary to the truth that he got, I better be able to prove it well. And then he's still waiting on the Lord to show it to him. I hear you, Jay. You sound convincing. But let the Lord show me. Ultimately, that's what you need to show you. He said, what verse are we at?
Middle of verse 14.
Beguiling unstable souls. Go ahead.
In heart, they have exercised with covetous practices, cursed children,
keep going,
which have forsaken the right way and are gone astray, following the way of Balaam.
Yeah, that's cool.
The son of Bazor, who loved the wages of unrighteousness, but was rebuked for his iniquity.
Said some of these people want that money. And that's what they do it for. That money, that power, that fame. That's why it's a beautiful thing that we work. Ministers that you see here, we work. We don't take church money, you know. And I mean, I guess, you know, we start getting old in the situation where, I mean, it's cool, but we don't. That's what I'm saying. We don't. And I think that started with Brother Bowie, and it just trickled itself down. Because a lot of these ministers out here, they getting paid. And they making merchandise of you like we read earlier today. So go ahead.
But was rebuked for his iniquity. The dumb ass, speaking with man's voice, forbade the madness of the prophet.
Go ahead.
These are well...
And what that 16 was doing, it was breaking down verse 15, and it was really taking you back to the book of Numbers. Saying, which have forsaken the right way, saying these men have forsaken the right way, we just say the false prophets have, and are gone astray, following the ways of Balaam, the son of Bosor, who loved the ways of unrighteous. Because this guy here was somebody who could curse you, but he was, you know, he was going to curse Israel for money. He said, but was rebuked for his iniquity because he was going to curse Israel for money. But dumb ass speaking, like his donkey started to talk to him. This story is in the Old Testament. With man's voice forbade the madness of the prophet. These are wells without water. So when we talking to these false prophets, a well without water, you got to remember the water is supposed to wash you. So you got ministers out here, they not cleaning you. So now when you really want to look at who's a false prophet, what you want to do is look at the people. Are they getting better? If the people ain't getting no better, then not okay, well you might be like, but I mean, he telling them don't fornicate and they still doing it. Yeah, I know. Some people going to still do what they want to do. But on the whole, if the people ain't getting no better, if the place look like it did 4 or 5 years ago or worse, he's probably a false prophet. Alright? So it says here, these are wells without water. Go ahead.
Clouds that are carried with a tempest, to whom the mist of darkness is reserved forever.
We say the mist of darkness is reserved for these people. Wells without water. Go ahead.
For when they speak great swellings, words of vanity.
See, that's what they do. They speak great swelling words of vanity. Like they sound, like I was listening to one last night, man, and I mean, he was on something like he sounded so intellectually, but I was like, you intellectually sound like a liar to me. That's what you, like you're lying right now. I forgot, I think you were still at the house, right? Yeah, it was something he said, and I'm like, bro, you just went the wrong way with that verse. You know, while you sitting there sounding like you telling the truth. And my wife's boss is following this dude and want me to watch the video, which I don't know how I'm going to be able to do it. Wants me to watch the video so I can rebuttal it. I'm going to do it, though. I'm going to do it. And it's going to be done before she go back to work Monday, too. Because I want to be done with this. The one way or the other. Either you gonna ride with me or ride without me. We can get this over with. Make a decision. We say we're going to put the line in the sand and tell you to cross. But at any rate, he said, these are wells without water, clouds that are carried with the tempest, to whom the mist of darkness is reserved forever. For when they speak great swelling words of vanity, they allure through the lust of the flesh, through much wantonness, those that were clean escape from them who live in error. So he's like, they allure, like that's a trap. You know what I'm saying? So they set traps for you with words. He said, while they promise them liberty, they themselves are servants of corruption, for of whom a man is overcome of the same as he brought in bondage. So, and he goes on further. So I'm just saying all that to say, you have to be careful of the men that stand before you. And that includes me, trust me. I'm not eliminating myself from that by no stretch. Because we have been given the gift to talk. We have been given the gift of persuasion, and it is to be in a situation to where we're working for the Lord. But with those gifts, you see, you can use them for unrighteousness. You can. It's your choice. You know. So again, I just want, I just like Josh said, show y'all some scriptures on that. So just be careful of men. Don't trust men. Like you say, curse is the man that trusts his man and make flesh his honor. Like, don't trust man. We got more questions, comments? Go ahead, sis.
I just want you to, I guess, further explain the adultery thing.
Oh, yeah. Adultery. Adultery. Yeah, okay. So, first of all, let's just say that I'm not saying here that immoral sex is proper. Man is supposed to be with his wife, and that make you one. Okay? That's the first thing. So when you man and woman, matter of fact, let's go read that first. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 6. We're going to look at that first. 1 Corinthians chapter 6. Because I want us to establish that. But the part of the problem is people have all looked at adultery like it's when you married and you step out on your spouse. Now, we're going to read this 1 Corinthians chapter 6, but and not in the sense of promoting multiple wives, okay? But understanding the Bible. So David is married. He got a wife, Saul's daughter. Okay? So now Nabal, the fool, ends up dying. What was his wife's name? Abigail?
Yeah.
Abigail is now going to be David's wife. David is already married, though. So why is that not adultery? Because it's not. That's not what adultery is. But I'm just trying to show that's permitted. God turned around and said, I gave you wives to David. Okay? Now, on the flip, David, when you was looking out your window and you saw, what was her name, Bathsheba? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, that was somebody else's wife. And you took that woman, and not only did you lay with that woman, then you turned around and killed the husband. But when you laid with that woman, that was somebody else's wife. You committed adultery. Okay. Now, if I was to call up, 1-800 find a woman line and pay some chicken head, right, and $45, that would be fornication, not adultery. It'd be wrong. I'm not justifying it. I'm clarifying it, and we're gonna read, but I'm clarifying the two so that we can understand the Bible distinctively gives a difference, and we can't just say adultery because I hear it so much in the world, and then I even hear it in Israel because it's so common in the world. But adultery and fornication, now all adultery can be fornication, but all fornication is not adultery. Does that make sense?
Adultery if you're sleeping with somebody else who's married, according to like a man.
Right.
Okay.
Then the adulterer would be you and that married woman. That woman has to be married. But we're going to see why shortly. Because if she's not, we're going to understand what we're supposed to be doing here. You see what I'm saying? That's the key to it all. That if she's not married, then you're supposed to be taking her to be your wife. Now, if we was really holding people to that, like really holding them, we probably have a whole lot less fornication. Just think if all of a sudden before you and your husband slept, the first time y'all slept together, it was like a big thing on your forehead that said who you just finished sleeping. I bet that would have been, not saying it was anybody else, but, and now he come around, that's yours, right? You know what I'm saying? Now he can't, next thing you know, he come in here 3-4 days later with 2 more names up there, right? But you get what I'm saying? Like now it's some ownership. Like it ain't like you got to. Then he'd be like, man, look here, man. I'm done with this. I got too many problems. You understand? Like if we really played the game properly, we would function properly. But we don't though. Brothers get to go out there and do whatever the heck they want to do. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody know. Sister don't tell. Brother don't tell. Don't nobody. And now we just fornicators. That's what we be doing. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, and let's pick it up at verse 15. Verse 15.
Know ye not that your bodies are the members of Christ? Shall I then take the members of Christ and make them members of an harlot? God forbid.
Go ahead.
What? Know ye not that he which is joined to an harlot is one body?
See, so what we getting at right here, he said he that joined to a harlot is one body. So what we saying is when you make yourself one, and think of it That's the only time a man and a woman really physically can be that way. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you are. So he's saying, why would you make yourself one with a harlot? So now, because that's what you are. And once you one, you're supposed to stay one. Because watch what the next statement is. Go ahead.
For two, saith he, shall be one flesh.
Right, he's quoting Genesis now. He's saying two should be one flesh now. So what we're doing is we're defining what the process is of having relations. It's now y'all one. You know what I'm saying? Physically. Alright? Go ahead.
But he that is joined unto the Lord is one spirit.
And so he says, and if you join to the Lord, you're one spirit with the Lord. Just like you, if you join to a woman, you one with that woman. Alright, go ahead.
Flee fornication.
Go ahead.
Every sin that a man doeth is without the body, but he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own body.
Yeah, because you can't take that sin back. You know, if I take $20 from you, you know I can give it back to you, right? You see what I'm saying? I mean, but if I commit adultery or fornication, I can't take it back. I mean, I can lie to him and be like, bro, I was lying. And he might have built off that lie. But at least we can take it back and okay, that wasn't the truth no more. You know what I'm saying? But you can't take that fornication back. When you do it, you do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he's telling you there. What know you that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost. I mean, when he says flee fornication, every sin that a man doeth is without the body, but he that committed fornication sinneth against his own body. Let's go over here to Deuteronomy. We'll try to make this a little quick. Deuteronomy. And I think we want maybe 24. I typically know when I get there. That's what we were talking about earlier, about the Bible, knowing it. Like sometimes you don't know exactly where but you know it's somewhere around the facility. It's 24 or 22. One of the ones we're looking for. 22, I think. Is it 24? Might be both of them. Yeah, I think actually we want some of both. But yeah, it looked like it's 24. Yeah, no, we'll look at 22 first, and then we'll go 24. Alright, so, yeah. And really, before we go here, hold your spot here. We're coming right back here. We're going to read one verse in Exodus. Exodus 23. Exodus 23, I think, or 24. Oh no, 23, I'm sure. Should be 23. Thou should not, thou should make no gift. Hold on, I'm going to find. Oh, okay, 22. Yeah, 22 and verse 16. So we're going to start here. We're going to start here, and we're going to move. From here, we're going to go to Deuteronomy. We'll read the two spots of Deuteronomy, and then we'll read one of Proverbs, and then we'll reassess the situation to see if you need any more. So, Exodus 22, and pick it up in verse 16. When you get there, go ahead.
And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
See, now think of that statement. If a man lie with a woman who's not betrothed. So, what I want us to understand is, what we call engagement, the Bible calls official. See, your word is your bond. So if I go to a man and make a bond with him for his daughter, I make some vows, some covenant, then that means she belongs to me now. That's Joseph and Mary, right? Hadn't slept with her, but he said he was going to put her away privately. See, because a lot of times we like to try to say, oh, well, when you sleep with somebody, you marry. No. When you sleep with somebody, you're one with them. You marry when you marry. Whatever degree that means. You know, I don't define, because a man and a woman can say, okay, we married, and we're going to live together, and they never got a piece of paper, ring, nothing. And I can't argue with that. I can't. If that's how you're going to live. I don't see Adam and Eve piece of paper or ring. I will say that there was a mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses there for Adam and Eve. And all these, I mean, I can break down marriage now, you know, to show you that you really do want to make it as official as possible. You know, but I can't say that, I know a brother who I recognize as married, and I know for sure he ain't got no piece of paper, no nothing. And him and they married, that's his wife. Okay? But it wasn't just about the relations. It said if a man entices a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he should surely endow her. That means he gonna come to the daddy and give the father what's necessary. Endow her to be his wife. Go ahead. If her family utterly refuse to give her unto him, he should pay money according to the dowry of the virgin. So she belongs to this family. See, so when you begin to comprehend the relationship of a man and a woman, I got 3 daughters. They're mine until I give them away. Now, if we was in the land, a man would have to come to me. He would have to buy them from me. Now you own them. Own them. Now, does that mean you beat what you own? Don't be no fool. Does it mean you treat bad what you own? Like, come on, that's all dumb. But regardless of what the fact remains, when we go into the biblical aspect of the relationship between a man and a woman can say something and a man can hear it and say, no, that don't count. A woman can't do that, though. So when you start comprehending the dynamic, now if you take a woman who's married and you sleep with her, she belongs to somebody else. You stole it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't yours to mess with. Now when you look at the story with David and his daughter and his son, and when Tamar slept with, Ammon slept with, or the Absalom. When Absalom slept with Tamar say, well, go tell Daddy. Because they had became one. Even though it would have been weird, you know what I'm saying? But that overrides everything else, though. When you become one. So that would have overrode the fact that y'all half brothers or really brothers and sisters. And y'all would have had to be husband and wife. Because, yeah, you was wrong, but you even more wrong because being one, when you won, you can't take it back. That's the whole thing, okay? Now, let's go over here to Deuteronomy. Let's go to Deuteronomy. That's why we have to be careful, especially with these young ladies, as we raise these young girls, that we have to explain to them what it is that you're doing when you do this. You can't. I was just telling my son this. I caught my son on the phone, being mannish. I walk in the room. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. I walk in the room. What you doing? I'm like, boy, you telling on yourself. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. Like, if you can understand what I'm saying, I'm like, well, you telling on yourself. So eventually, I'm like, so I just throw the phone, just walk out. I'm kind of laughing in my mind, like, dang, dude, tripping, man. But you being managed, you being a boy, So later on, we had a talk, and I talked to him and his older sister. And one of the rules, or one of the things I told him, I said, look here, when you make these type of moves, they permanent. Like, you can't take it back, son or daughter. You can't, once it's done, like, look, you can break something, we can repair it, we can fix it, we can buy it, but when you make this move, it's over. And if you make this move and it costs you, all moves you make cost. And if this one costs you big, now you're going to be suffering through this one for the rest of your life. So, be easy, slow down, wait on Pops. I help you with this.
Just so we don't go on any further, that was Anna and not
Thank you. I know we can go read it. You know what I mean? But let's look at this Deuteronomy real quick. Deuteronomy 22. Oh, wait a minute. Did we do 22? Yeah, 22. Yeah, and let's pick it up verse 13. Deuteronomy 22 and 13. When you get there, go ahead.
If any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her and give occasions of speech against her and bring up an evil name.
We're not going to start there. Let's start at verse 22. And when you get there, go ahead.
If a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, then they shall both of them die, both the man that lie with the woman and the woman. So shalt thou put away evil from Israel.
Right, they both committed adultery. Okay. He's an adulterer, she's an adulteress. Because she was married. Okay, go ahead.
If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die.
Betrothed, right? Because I promised my daughter off to somebody, and you went out and did what you wanted to do. So now you got me looking wrong. You know what I'm saying? You broke our promise. That was adultery. That's what that was. That was adultery. You was already married to somebody else. Y'all just hadn't consummated your marriage yet. And that action is so detrimental and important that, hey, it's done with for you. Over with for you. But notice it's the man and the woman. That's why when the woman got caught in the act of adultery, he said, which one of y'all ain't commit sin then? Cast the first stone. Well, they were supposed to bring the man too. That was the problem. So since they ain't have them both, then they all walking away. Because he was going to jam them up for that. Like y'all caught her in the very act of adultery. So that means you caught her by herself? How that work? Right. And where to do that now? Go ahead. Let's read some more.
Because she cried. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's good. Because she cried not. That's why. Because she should have cried about that if it was rape. Go ahead.
Because she cried not, being in the city, and the man, because he hath humbled his neighbor's wife.
Okay, so they ain't even married. No, I take that back. They were betrothed. They hadn't even consummated it yet. But the Bible says he humbled your neighbor's wife. And that's another thing I like, the term humble. It's a good way of thinking about it. And I've actually heard sisters joking around like, yeah, I need my husband to humble me. You know, that's cute, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's the reality of it, you know. And that's what we live in, reality. Go ahead.
So thou shalt put away evil from among you.
Go ahead.
But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die.
Right.
But unto the damsel thou shalt.
This empty. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death.
Go ahead.
For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter.
Go ahead.
For he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her.
Go ahead.
If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed.
All right, so now a man, he can be married or not. Okay? Because he noticed it never said, well, if a man, because that never had relevance. Like, but here's the rules to marriage and adultery right here in this chapter. But it never had relevance if the man was married. It was always, well, if the woman. So now here, if a man be find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found, go ahead.
Then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her. He may not put her away all his days. A man shall not take his father's wife, nor discover his father's skirt.
That's good. Let's look at one more. Proverbs chapter 6. So Jesus makes a statement that we're not going to look at today, because we don't really have a lot of time, but we can. Or we can look at it after we close out if you want to. Jesus makes a statement that if a man put away a woman with the exception for fornication, that he causes her to commit adultery. And so now, the question is, and we may need to look at it, but the question is, well, how did they commit adultery? He put her away. The man didn't commit adultery, because this ain't both of them do. The man didn't commit it. Like if I put my wife away, then she goes out and marry another man. What the Bible is teaching us is that she's committing adultery, and the Bible is putting that adultery on me as well, because I never should have put her away. And that's what Jesus is bringing when he brings onto the scene. See, what Jesus does is hold everybody to the fire on these laws, like to the whole spirit of it all. You know, because they say, can a man put away his wife for anything? You know, and it's like, well, except for fornication, you can't. You know, so why did, you know? But like I said, we might look at that. But let's Proverbs chapter 6, and let's pick it up at verse 32. Proverbs 6 and 32.
But whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding,
That's where I told you to start. I probably did. Yeah, okay. That's cool. You can start there. Whoso committeth adultery with a woman lack of understanding. Go ahead.
He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul.
Mm-hmm.
A wound and dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. For jealousy is the rage of a man.
So now notice what's happening in the next statement. Jealousy is the meaning it ain't no way you're going to be able to get out that adultery. Go ahead.
Therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. He will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content through thou givest.
Though thou gives many gifts. Meaning, like my wife and the mother of my 6 kids. And I walk home and she in there with Kobe Bryant. You know, he's from Philly. It don't matter what Kobe comes to me with. Like, you can't take that back, though. You know what I'm saying? And then, furthermore, even if we say, well, okay, man, I appreciate, give me this little money. Like, every time I look at it, all I'm going to see is number 24. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's nothing you can do to take that back. It's what, like, it's and I mean, I know mistakes have happened in life. I'm not here to bash anybody's life. But the reality is you can't take that move back. And that's why he says, but whoso committeth adultery, verse 24, with a woman lacketh understanding. Because you don't know how many sins and ills you done did. You done stole, that's somebody else's. You can't take this back. You lack understanding. You done fell into your lust. It's like reverting backwards, committing adultery. So that's one of the no-nos in my arena. Like if you one of my homeboys or something, like, look, you don't want to cross that line. No. The answer is no. I mean, hey, man, my bad. I stole some money. Okay, yeah, all right. Like somewhere in here say, do a man. I don't think we read it. Verse 30. Yeah, read that verse 30. No matter of fact, that's why I messed up. Start at 29. This is where I should have started. Go ahead.
Chapter, right?
Yeah, same chapter.
So he that goeth in to his neighbor's wife, whosoever toucheth her shall be not innocent.
See, notice what we got going on. Dealing with somebody else's wife. Alright? You guilty. Go ahead.
Men do not despise a thief if he steal to satisfy his soul when he is hungry.
Right, like if I ain't got no food, that's one thing. But this ain't got nothing to do with food, though. You lusting. You know what I mean? Like, this ain't got nothing to do with your survival. You can't crave the other appetite. So go ahead.
But if he be found, he shall restore sevenfold.
Come on, if he stole. Go ahead.
He shall give all the substance of his house.
Uh-huh.
But whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding.
Uh-huh.
He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul.
Uh-huh.
A wound and dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. For jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance.
Alright, that's good. Let's go to Mark chapter 10 real quick. We're going to pick it up in the new school, and this is going to be it. Or, yeah, I guess we could do it either one. Let's go to, dang, I almost want to do them both. We'll do Mark 10. That's what we said, Mark 10. And, because here's the other way, because this is the only way that you can commit adultery without committing an act. Because adultery is an act. But there's a way that you can commit adultery without committing an act. And we're going to see Jesus bring that out. See, that's what Jesus did. Jesus came and brought everything to another level. So, me and my wife, we married, and now I put her away. You know what I'm saying? I put her away not for fornication. I put her away because I can't stand her no more. So, Mark chapter 10, and let's pick it up at let's just pick it right up at verse 10.
And in the house his disciples asked him again of the same matter. And he saith unto them, whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another.
Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm in Matthew 10. So I'm just looking and I'm like, what's going on here? Okay, go ahead. Mark 10 and 10. Whosoever put away his wife. Go ahead. Whosoever shall put away his wife.
Whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another committeth adultery against her.
Notice that it said committed adultery against her. Right, because if I put my wife away, because the Lord said he hate putting away. and now she go marry somebody else. She wasn't ever supposed to do that. So that's on you now, Jediah. It's like just like it's on her. Now it's on you as well. Don't think you're getting away from that. Okay, so that adultery that she committed, that's on you too. That's what he's saying there. But the act of adultery is when a man sleeps with another man's wife. But in this case here, he's saying, well, she ain't supposed to ever sleep with nobody else, but you done put her away. So that adultery I'm charging her with, you get charged with it too. Go ahead.
And if a woman shall put away her husband,
A woman ain't even got the right to do that. Right. Go ahead.
And be married to another, she committeth adultery.
Right. And he just saying, like, he just put it out there, like, she ain't got that right, but it's Roman law. So if she do it, FYI. Because the question was, can you put away somebody for divorce? Like, can you divorce somebody? That was the question that was asked earlier. And the answer was like, no, the Lord said, y'all supposed to be one. You know, so, no. So hopefully that helped clear up adultery a little bit. Yes? Very good. Very good. All right, well, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I just got that good question.
Go ahead.
This is going with it. Now, if the man, he's out there fornicating against with other women, and the wife finds out, and then the wife divorces him, wants a divorce from him, is that allowed?
No. Sorry.
So what is she supposed to do?
So what is she supposed to do? Because
fornication?
I mean, he wrong, but just because he wrong don't mean you got to go get wrong. So let the Lord deal with that. I get it. I get it too. That it's like look.
He is you, so I mean, he's not making you wrong too.
No, because you ain't doing that. If he go kill somebody, that don't mean you killed him too. Just because y'all won. You ain't going to prison either, is you? You know what I'm saying? Like it's still y'all won definitely. But we're gonna read it though. What's that again?
But what if he accepts it?
That she put him away?
I mean, that he accepts it and says, okay, you know, he's gonna get a divorce.
She ain't supposed to. Like
she's bound to stay with him.
That's the Bible. I mean, a man ain't supposed to do it. Take it to God. You know what I'm saying? Like to the woman, take it to the Lord. Like look at Nabal. You know what I'm saying? The Lord took him out. So I mean, you know, I'm just gonna tell you. I'm just gonna show you the rules though. We're gonna go to Romans chapter 7 because I mean, you know, I mean this ain't mine personal. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go to Romans chapter 7. I know, right? But I know, right? I know, right? I know, right? I know, I'm with you. But I'm saying, to a woman, you bound to your husband till death. Now, what's wrong with him? Like, you take that to the Lord. He ain't got no business. Fornicators go to hell. So we're not justifying his action, but the question is, if your husband turned out to be a fornicator, what are you supposed to do? We're going to read it. We're going to read 2 places. Go ahead, sis.
So if you know.
I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you enough of an out that you can have, but it ain't going to be all of what you like, though. You can't go remarry.
So, but wait. So if you know, can you just stop having sex with the person?
I'm going to give you enough of an out that you can have. I'm going to give you as much of an out as you can have, but you can't remarry. We're going to see. That's why I say we're going to read it all.
Okay.
Look, your husband, bruh, stay at home, man. Look. And she might come burning bed on you, bro. Think I'm gonna stay here, especially after we read this scripture. She gonna be like, I know how to solve this problem. Go ahead, we're gonna read this. Start at verse 1.
Chapter 1?
Chapter 7, verse 1. Know ye not, brethren, Romans 7:1. For I speak to them that know the law, how that the law have dominion over a man as long as he live. For the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to her husband so long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loose from the law of her husband. Right, that's what I said. Right. So then if while her husband liveth, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress. But if her husband be dead, she is free from that law, so that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man. Because the intent is for a woman to know one man only ever.
because of what you said in the beginning, as far as women are owned by. Okay, got you.
I mean, that the woman was made for the man when Adam and Eve. I mean, just the whole one. The intent for a woman was to know one man only ever. Just think how unfair that is. But just think of how fair that is. That when a woman has known 3 men. I mean, just think when I say think of how unfair that is, and one of them was Shaq. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, I don't really know, but I'm just trying to get. I'm saying that's not fair. That's not good, right? I mean, you understand what I'm saying, right? And I don't know, but I'm just trying to give you the idea that the woman is supposed to know one man only. Now, let's go to Corinthians chapter 7, so we can give you your out. 1 Corinthians, sorry. Yeah, this is one of them touchy ones. One people. I mean, because it seems so unfair, but the reality is that the woman was made for the man from day one. Yep. Sorry. Welcome. See, this America. That's why we be so indifferent. But the reality is, the woman was made for the man. That's it. God, a man. I bet it'll be all right when you get your salvation, woman. Mm-hmm. And with that comes different levels of responsibility too, though. I mean, look at life for a man and a woman today. Like, it's a whole lot easier for a woman than it is a man. It is. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it has this. I mean, when I say that, I say from the perspective of what the world is doing. You know, I'm not saying that. You know, right? But so I mean, like, what? Is it a whole bunch of women in prison? No, not really. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so just everything about it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, women get Section 8, welfare. You know, I mean, it's just, and we can keep going on and on and on. But the reality is, in the Bible, the woman was made for the man. All right? 1 Corinthians 7, pick it up at verse 1. When you get there, go ahead.
Now concerning the things whereof you wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman, nevertheless to avoid fornication. Let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband.
See, now notice what it said, to avoid fornication. Make sure everybody stay, because, you know, fornicating is any unmoral act. You know what I mean? So, you know, whether if I'm out there with Betty and Shira and all the other chicks. Yeah, I know, I just thought of a name. I know, right? But regardless, though, it's funny, but that's true. But, you know, that's fornication. So he's like, look, to avoid that, boys stay home. That's why I say I go home. You know what I'm saying? I go home. That's where I go. Keep reading.
Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence.
So here go the rules now. He's saying, hey, the husband give the wife what she need to have, so she don't be trying to go somewhere else. Keep going.
And likewise also the wife unto the husband. The wife hath not power of her own body, but the husband, and likewise also the husband hath not power of his own body.
Go ahead.
But the wife. Defraud ye not one the other, except it be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your incontinency.
That's good enough. Go down to verse 10.
And unto the married I command ye not, I, but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband.
So, if your husband is, 7 a week, hey, the rule is do not depart from your husband. Now watch this.
But if she depart, let her remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife.
See? So, I mean, if somebody was kicking your butt, or, kicking your butt, either way you want to look at it, then you can say, well, I got to go. I can't take this no more. But you can't go give it to nobody else. And really, you going and you hoping to reconcile with your husband. Still. Let's steal your husband. So those are the rules. Hey, you got a good man, so you ain't got to worry about it.
Where's the scripture that Brother Dyer says accepting people for fornication now? Different?
No, that is something. That was something Jesus might have said, and we kind of covered it, but we didn't cover it all the way because it did give her that out to leave for fornication. So it gave him the out. But let me go find it real quick. I think it's in Matthew.
19?
Yeah, Matthew 19, I think. Matthew chapter 19. And I'll start at verse 1. I want to read it quick. Sorry, Jake, but you don't read quite as quick as I do. But it's only because I've been reading for a longer time. And it came to pass, chapter 19, verse 1, that when Jesus had finished these sayings, he departed from Galilee and came into the coast of Judea beyond Jordan. And great multitudes followed him, and he healed them there. And the Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? And he answered and said unto them, Have you not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female? And said, For this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let no man put asunder. And they said unto him, Why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement, and to put her away? And he said unto them, Moses, because the hardness of your heart suffer you to put away your wives. But from the beginning it was not so. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery. And whoso marrieth her which is put away, doeth commit adultery. So, that is going back to the same statement that we were discussing before, which is, because you putting her away, she's going to commit adultery. Now, if she don't marry, then she don't commit adultery, you don't commit adultery. But if I put my wife away because I don't like her no more, and I go get me some other woman, now what has that, I put her away. So what has that done for my wife? So basically, if she goes to sleep with another man, she's an adulterer. Because we done read over and over that she's supposed to be with only one man. So then how does she become an adulterer and not me? That ain't fair. You see, because I'm the one that was in charge and put her away. So short of fornication, I can't because the Lord say don't put no women away. See, now part of what we got to understand is putting a woman away is saying I don't want her again. That has nothing to do with a man sleeping with another woman. Just remember that. Because a lot of times we get the two confused and then one ain't got nothing to do with the other.
Yeah, but so when you say except, short of
fornication.
The fornication.
So if my wife committed fornication.
If he commit fornication, he could put her away.
Yes.
She is free then.
If I put her away because she committed fornication, yes, she would be free.
No, because you committed fornication. Right?
No, it didn't say that though. It never said that nowhere.
I thought that was the general rule that the man would be the one.
No, general. Because notice what you said. Notice what we're reading. It says, "Suffer you to put your wives," but from the beginning it was not so. And I say, "Whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery. And whoso marrieth her which is put away, committeth adultery." So notice who got the power or the control here. It's the man.
It's the man.
Right. So it ain't saying that the woman can put away her husband for adultery.
But it's saying the man can put away
his wife. Right. If she fornicate. Right. Or commit adultery. Right. Same thing on her. Yeah. I know, right? It sounds so freaking unfair. I get it. And I get it. But the problem is, like, we ain't supposed to be, like, what kind of man is that? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord gonna deal with that. You got a good woman at home and you out here, you know what I'm saying? Like, see, that's the thing. As women, you gotta know the Lord gonna deal with that. And if your husband, which I know he ain't, was like that, you hit him with that. Like, God, look. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't do nothing about this. I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna be as right as I can with God until he gets you. But he gonna get you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how you gotta look at it though. You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta understand that's your help at that point. And see, that's when it's key. Like, okay, I gotta depend on God because this Negro here ain't right. And he come through. You know what I'm saying? There have been plenty of situations. God work it out. Maybe he just leave you. You know what I mean? Maybe he gets sick of being in the house with you, whatever. I don't know. But the rules is the rules, and I don't make them.
So if he leave you and he's just gone and you just move on, you would be committing adultery, right?
Well, there is a passage where he say that the woman ain't in that bondage if he an unbeliever like that, which that would qualify him to that.
Okay.
So, right.
Yes, you are.
Right, yeah, you can't go nowhere. Yeah, but if he be like, that's in 1 Corinthians 7, so you can read the rest of that on your own. But yeah, then you wouldn't be in bondage. Like you've been doing everything right, and then all of a sudden this Negro gonna leave, and now I'm in trouble. I can't be with nobody else ever again. Like no. So that's why I say you got to go check that 1 Corinthians 7 now, because it tell you that's the word to use. You're not in such bondage now. Like you done put up with 5 years of him outside playing. And now he leaving, and you tell me that I can't be with nobody now?
Right.
You know. So, but you read that one, 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Well, brothers and sisters, it is about that time. Again, I apologize for being late today. Life could have been worse though, but we did take care of the Lord's business. It's always a pleasure to be here. And we're going to go ahead and close it out. And I think we brothers are going to ride to the hospital before we pull out of here. Go ahead. Somebody got a question online? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Oh. You can't find it?
He's trying to understand what they're saying.
Oh.
It's out.
Right, that's why, yeah.
Oh, it's not really a question?
No, it's out.
Oh, okay.
It's an out.
Yeah, it's not necessarily deep as far as the bottom though.
Oh, okay. Okay, no problem. All right, well, let's go ahead and stand and face Jerusalem. Now, y'all stick with this. Like, stick with the word. Stick with what you do. This is a nice group of people here. I'm just going to let you know. Oh, go ahead, bro.
Our Father which art in heaven.
Our Father which art in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done in earth.
Thy will be done in earth.
As it is in heaven.
As it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread.
Give us this day our daily bread.
And forgive us our debts.
And forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation.
And lead us not into temptation.
But deliver us from evil.
But deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And the power.
And the glory forever.
And the glory forever.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
For he is good.
For he is good.
And his mercy endures forever.
And his mercy endures forever.
Praise the Lord God of Israel.
Praise the Lord, the God of Israel.
For he is good.
For he is good.
And his mercy endures forever.
His mercy endures forever.
In Jesus' name we pray.
In Jesus' name we pray.
The Holy One of Israel.
The Holy One of Israel.
King of kings.
King of kings.
And Lord of lords.
And Lord of lords.
The one true God.
The one true God.
And there is none other.
And there is none other.
Amen.
Amen. That's good, y'all.